All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are breaking down a system for what is, let's be honest, one of the most maddening situations you can find yourself in. We're talking about how to defend yourself when someone seems dead set on manufacturing conflict just to paint you as the problem. This is all about giving you a playbook to diffuse that bait and protect yourself from that high conflict label.
So does this sound familiar at all? You know that feeling where every single message feels like a potential trap? Like you're walking on eggshells and it doesn't matter what you say, it's somehow always the wrong thing? If you've ever felt like you're being deliberately set up to lose your cool, then yeah, you're going to want to stick around for this.
You know, there's actually a name for this whole tactic. It's called conflict manufacturing, and it's a very simple, very deliberate two-step process. First, they create instability, a mix of provocation and just sheer confusion. Then, the second they get you to react, like any normal human being would, they grab that reaction, hold it up, and use it as proof that you're the one who's unstable or high conflict. It's a game, and it's completely calculated.
But here's the thing, this isn't just about them winning some petty argument. This can have serious, real-world consequences. This is what we're going to call the high conflict trap, because it's how your very natural reactions can be turned into actual, formal restrictions against you.
And this brings us to the most critical mindset shift you have to make. You have to understand this. The person doing this isn't trying to beat you on the facts. They don't actually need you to be wrong. They just need you to look reactive. They need you to look emotional, chaotic, unhinged. Your emotional response, that's the prize. That's what they're really after.
And you won't believe how fast this trap can spring. It starts with a provocation. You, of course, react. They immediately take a screenshot of just your reaction with zero context. Then they turn around and claim they're scared, they feel harassed, they ask for restrictions. And here's the kicker. Most systems, legal, HR, you name it, they often just default to better safe than sorry and grant the restriction without ever looking at the whole picture. It can happen that fast.
Okay, so if we're going to avoid falling into the trap, we have to get really, really good at recognizing the bait. So let's break down some of the most common tactics you'll see. Think of this next part as your field guide for spotting manipulative communication as it's happening.
First up is the most straightforward one. Simple provocation bait. This is just a direct attack on your character. You're so unstable, or, see, you're being a bad parent again. The goal here is so specific. It's to get you to write a long, emotional, multi-paragraph essay defending yourself. And that essay? Well, that becomes their Exhibit A for why you are, in their words, unstable.
Next, you've got goalpost shifting. This one's a classic. They'll agree to something, say, pick up at 5, but then, right at the last second, they'll change it. Actually, it has to be 4:30. If you can't, you're refusing to cooperate. It's designed to manufacture a situation where you look non-compliant just for trying to stick to the plan you both agreed on.
Then there's the urgency trap. This is when they slap some ridiculous, artificial deadline on you. You have 10 minutes to answer or you're agreeing to this. The whole point is to push you into a rushed, frantic state. They want you firing off quick, sloppy messages that they can then string together to make you look erratic and out of control.
And of course, the double bind. This is the ultimate no-win scenario. It's beautiful in its awfulness, really. If you respond to their messages, you're harassing them. But if you don't respond, you're refusing to communicate. The entire point is to make sure that no matter what you do, they've got an angle to attack you from. Every choice is punishable.
All right, that's enough about the problem. It's frustrating, right? But the good news is it's predictable, and anything that's predictable is defensible. So now we pivot to the solution, a structured defensive counter system. Because you don't win this by having a better argument, you win it by having a better method.
And the system is a 4-layer stack. We call it the counter stack. It all starts with the foundation, your mindset. On top of that, you build a set of non-negotiable rules. Then, you use pre-planned scripts for all your communications. And finally, you wrap the entire thing in clean, undeniable documentation. Each layer supports the next. It's a fortress.
Layer 1, the mindset, is without a doubt the most important shift you'll ever make. From this moment on, you are not writing to the person who is baiting you. You are writing every single message for an imaginary third party, a judge, a mediator, an HR rep, whoever. Your new goal is to win the long-term record, not the argument happening in the moment. This one change, it changes everything.
So, Layer 2 gives you some simple, non-negotiable rules that act as guardrails. One topic per message, that keeps things clean. And here's the golden rule, 4 sentences maximum.
This is the key to preventing those long, emotional essays they're dying to get from you. The rest is common sense. No threats, no armchair diagnosing them, no lectures, and always, always confirm logistics. If you follow these rules, it's almost impossible to look reactive.
Okay, now we get to the really practical stuff. Once you have the right mindset and rules, you can start using what we call the no-fuel toolkit. These are basically scripts and protocols that let you respond calmly without giving them any of the emotional fuel they're looking for.
And the heart of your toolkit is the BIF response. It's an acronym. Your messages should always be brief, think just a couple of sentences. Informative, just the objective facts, no emotion. Friendly, and by friendly, we mean basic, neutral courtesy, not warmth. And firm, clearly state a boundary or what the next step is. This structure is your shield.
So what does that actually look like? Well, here is a perfect copy and paste script for any logistical issue. Just look at it. It's boring, and that's what makes it so brilliant. It confirms the topic, it offers 2 reasonable options, and it asks for a confirmation. There is absolutely no way to frame this message as aggressive or unstable. It is pure, simple problem solving.
And what about when they send you an accusation? Well, here's the script for that. And this is a masterclass in setting a boundary. You just state, I'm not addressing accusations by text. Then you pivot. If you have a specific, actionable request, send it. And then you immediately redirect back to the only thing that matters, the logistics. You completely refuse the...
This all leads to a very simple triage system, which is so important because it gives you permission to not respond to everything. Here's the rule. If a message is about actual logistics for today or tomorrow, you respond using BIF. If it's just pure narrative warfare, character assassination with no actual request, you ignore it. Your silence is not weakness. It is a powerful, strategic act of de-escalation.
And that brings us to the final and, honestly, the most powerful layer of this whole system, the documentation. This is how you play the long game. This is how you win with the record that you have so carefully and methodically created.
So your goal is to build what we can call an anti-cherry-pick record. Their whole strategy relies on cherry-picking that one bad moment, right? But what if there are no bad moments to pick? If every single one of your responses for months on end has been calm, brief, and solutions-focused, there's nothing for them to grab. You're not trying to prove their intent, you're just showing their clear pattern of chaos right next to your clear pattern of calm.
And this is how you show it. You boil down months of chaotic messages into one simple chart. You just log the date, their provocation, your calm BIF response, and the result. That's it. Any third party can look at this one page and understand the entire dynamic in about 30 seconds. It completely cuts through all the noise and makes the pattern undeniable.
So, to wrap this all up, let's just quickly review the mistakes that completely undermine this system. These are the things that will be used to prove you're high conflict, even when you're not. Those long essay replies, sarcasm, sending 5 texts in a row when you're upset, and especially diagnosing them with labels like narcissist. You have to avoid these at all costs. Just stick to the system.
We'll just leave you with this final thought because it really captures the entire strategy. What would change for you right now if your goal wasn't to win the argument in front of you, but to make the pattern of their behavior so clear, so consistent, and so obvious that it becomes absolutely undeniable to anyone who looks? That is how you defuse the trap for good.